but this content is for the woman who feels like she is stuck in a rut. So if there's something that you do not know, especially with upskilling or relearning, Google is your best friend, and that's what I did. Use that at your advantage. Hello, my name is Laifa. Welcome to La La Land. I recently transitioned into a new career, and here I share with you the emotional and mental journey of having to do that as a mother, as a wife, as somebody who's working full-time. I'm juggling a lot of things. It's important that I share my journey so that I can look back, but also I know that when I started this journey, I wanted to look at somebody like myself who was not fresh out of uni and they're like, oh my goodness, I did this thing and now I'm earning £10 million a month. No, I wanted to hear real stories. I wanted to hear the highs, the lows, how they navigated. As much as I wanted to hear about the workload and all of that stuff, how they navigated emotionally, mentally, having to be in environments that they're not necessarily familiar with and comfortable with. I've come from a non-corporate space to a corporate space, and if you were in corporate is different. Let's just say that. I want to make this content for the woman, and if this relates with you and if you can relate with this content, then please do continue to watch and listen. But this content is for the woman who feels like she is stuck in a rut, because before making this transition, that's how I felt. I'm speaking to single mothers that are working 10 million jobs and they're still trying to make two ends meet. I'm talking to single mothers who are on benefits. I'm talking to mothers who depend on a man. So you do not have an income that you bring in yourself, but you solely depend on a man. I'm talking to mothers and women who want their own. You want to have your own. You want to stand on your own. That's who I'm talking to, because I think there is a relatability in all of these type of women whereby you just feel like you're stuck in a rut. And for me, I think I've shared that I always talk about this, but it's a big part of my journey. When I lost my mum, I felt like I was exposed to the world. And even though at the time I was already married with kids, so a lot of time, because I come from a Nigerian background, it's like you're in your husband's house, so you're fine. It's your husband. But that freaked me out, because as much as, yes, I have been depending on my husband for a large part of our marriage, he's that guy. Let's just say that he's that guy. When I lost my mum, there was this fear and realization that, oh my goodness, I depend on a man. And my man is great, but it's just like, oh my God, I depend on a man solely. Like, God forbid anything happen, it's me and this man, or this, no. So there was a lot of thinking that I had to do to think, okay, how can I get myself out of this situation whereby I can stand on my own, essentially. So I was seeking regularity, and I think all roads led to, okay, you need to get a 9 to 5. And that's essentially what I did. So if you're somebody who you feel like, and especially in my situation where it's like, I also have children, I have little humans that I'm responsible for that depend on me. And yes, I live in the UK, and some people may feel like, oh, but you're in the UK, you have a social welfare system. I think that system is great for when and if, and for those who really, really need it. It's great to try if you need time to connect the dots. I'm not opposed to those that need the help, use the help that is there, but as much as you can, if you can help it, don't rely on the system. And anyway, that's a subject for another day, so we're not necessarily going to talk about that. But I want to talk about some of our biggest advantages when you live in, I guess, the Western world, or in a system that works for the most part, or in the day and age that we're in, which is we're in the age of information. The internet is everywhere, right? So if there's something that you do not know, especially with upskilling or relearning, Google is your best friend, and that's what I did. Use that at your advantage. I don't think, like, for the the baby boomers, I don't think information was readily available the way it is in today. Yes, we are in an economy that is on its knees, but our advantage, which I guess the baby boomers didn't have, is that we are in an information age. Information is free to everyone. So, as I said, Google is your best friend. I think for me, what I did with that is I brainstormed all of the skills, everything that I'm good at. I even went back as far back to look at, what are the subjects that I did in GCSE that I did really well at? Do I like them? What sort of transferable skills do I have? And I now used all of this information. I synthesized all of this information and looked at some of the roles where I can get that will essentially pay well. And I looked at how long that would potentially take to attain this. Maybe what is the perfect salary for me and for my family, for the lifestyle that I want? What does that look like? And I think this is where, you should get an Excel spreadsheet together and start using a calculator. Everybody has access to a calculator. If you have access to Google, you have access to a calculator. If you have a phone, you have a calculator on your phone, and start doing. And this is where you could start doing the number crunching. Okay, this is maybe what I'm earning now, and this is what I want to earn, and this is how much I need so that I could get myself out of this situation. Like, okay, let's take, for example, if you are a single mother and you are working part-time, but you also have support from the state, maybe some form of benefits or whatever. Maybe they cover some of your bills or your rent or whatever. And so maybe you're bringing in, I don't know, £1,200 a month, which is actually nothing, and your rent is already £1,000. So you have a system that maybe covers, I don't know, half of your rent, so you do one half and maybe the council does the other half. And then you also have food, utility, your child, all of these things. Start doing the number crunching. Okay, how much do I need to earn a month so that I can not be on this system, so that I don't have to depend on this system? Or even if you're with a man, so I don't have to depend on this man and I can be comfortable. How much do I need to get out of this? You need to start doing the number crunching. And then when you have those numbers, you now go back to your other spreadsheet or your other brainstorming, your research, and you look at, okay, which salaries can pay me X amount a month and what do I need to do to get there? So it's like you're working backwards, essentially. And I think there's something to be said about don't be too proud. There is a story that I will share that before I did the job now that I'm doing now, I went back to schools. So I was working in a school and I didn't want to, because I said I don't want to do schools anymore. But prior to that, I had a job that was really, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And it wasn't the worst job in the world, and I enjoyed it whilst I did it because it gave me time to think, to connect the dots and still earn money, right? What I'm saying about that is sometimes if you're not already working, just start working, just start a job. There are jobs out there anyway. Sometimes people are just looking for a white collar job or a job where they're working in an office and but those office jobs are not coming. Trust me, some of your greatest had to do waitressing, or I don't know, they had to be cleaners or to make ends meet, just to get them to the next level. Do you understand? So what I'm saying with that is, don't be too proud. And whilst you're doing your Googling, look on Glassdoor, look at some of the salaries. And to be fair, Glassdoor isn't always accurate. Even their averages aren't accurate, but at least it gives you an idea, right? Because we're in an information age, right? Information is free. If you want a job and you're just like, oh, but I'm not educated, I messed up my GCSEs, or I need at least an English and I don't have an English, or I need maths and I don't have a math, go back to school and get the education. If you're not, that means you're not sick of yourself. You're not tired of yourself yet. Go back and get an education. Go back to school. If it costs money, save your pennies. As long as it takes, go back. Because guess what? You're like, oh, it's going to take this long or that. Guess what? Whether you do it or not, the time will go anyway. So you might as well do it. That's how I see things. Whether you do it or not, the time is going to pass regardless. So you might as well do the thing that you want to do. Get the grades that you need to get. So keep your eye to the ground. Be careful of your algorithm as well. Like, some of us are on TikTok watching dances, while some of us are on TikTok looking at how to upskill, how to get educated, how to change our pay grade. We're looking at how to change our tax bracket. We're looking at how to make money, how to start a business. Don't shun some of these apps, right? Because I think sometimes, in a lot of cases, and I think maybe because of the women that I know in real life, the mothers that I know in real life, a lot of them, the hurdle is they don't have a particular certificate. Maybe, again, like I said, maybe they don't have a math GCSE or a English GCSE or something like that, and they need this thing in order to do X, Y, and Z, and they are the ones holding themselves back. They want to do this, and if they don't do this, they'll end up just doing a waitressing job for the foreseeable future. And I'm like, don't shun these small beginnings. If it's a waitressing job that you need to do, and there's nothing I know hospitality is hard to work in. I know that. I'm very aware. But if that's what you need to do in order to get yourself from A to B, then do that. Because whilst you're doing that, you could be studying. Like, you're not the only one. You're not, and if you're still complaining, you're not tired. You're not tired of yourself yet. You're not tired of your situation. I think in my case, I was so, I don't even know if I was tired. I think I was scared. I was scared more than anything. So when people would say to me that I'm so courageous and they admire my courage, I felt very much like I had no choice. So I think it depends what moves you, but maybe I was moved out of fear. Like, I felt very much like I have no choice. If I don't do something, I don't know where myself and my children will end up. That being said, I am a married woman, so I'm talking about any woman who feels like she's stuck in a rut. You could be married, you could be single, whatever the case may be. But if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, and I think the beauty of women is we talk, we communicate. There are a lot of events, forums, things whereby women empowerment, women this, women that, dun, dun, dun. There are things out there that will help us and encourage us and propel us and motivate us. I have a couple of online mentors as well as mentors in real life that they may not know that they are my mentor, but they are my mentors. Do you know what? My camera cut out, so I don't really know where I was and what I was saying, but I think the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is, if you feel stuck in a rut, this content is for you. Because that is how I felt. Start where you are and start small. A hair business, or, the beauty is that a lot of women that I'm seeing are very entrepreneurial, but I think sometimes it's just a case of starting and making, whether it's entrepreneurship or business or working, start small and start where you are. Don't be too proud to just work. I remember one of my aunts, I guess before she knew how serious I was about finding work and the type of work I was looking for, she was just like, there's work out there. If you want to work, you'll work. And what I understood from that is, if you want to work, whether it is sweeping the streets, whether it is cleaning somebody's shit, whether it is a corporate job, whether it is going back to school, whether it's being a teacher, whether it's this or that, you will work. Because whatever it is, if you want to work, you will work. So what I'm saying about where I'm going is that start where you are. If you don't necessarily have the grades or the whatever that you need to be where you want to be, or be the person that you want to be, start with what you have and progress from there. You don't need to be stuck in a rut in that job. Whilst you're in that job, you can now start saving, or in your spare time study. You need to be able to sacrifice your time and give up your time so that you can be the person that you want to be. There's no point complaining about the same thing over and over again and not doing anything about it. I'm hoping this speaks to somebody. I hope this resonates with someone. I'm not trying to scold anyone. I'm not trying to tell anyone off. I'm just trying to say, like, use the resources that you have around you. If you have family and you have children and you need help with childcare and they're open and willing and able, use that network. If it's friends, use that network. Please do share, comment, like, subscribe. I think I really do need some engagement. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share any suggestions, share any resources, especially if you are in the UK. Please use this platform to engage with each other, engage with me. If you want to, if you feel better to DM me privately, we can do that too. Anyway, until the next one, bye.